Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact. Most of the things that we believe to be a fact in our lives are told to us through our stories or the news that we hear. So my question would be, if they were deceiving you with the stories they tell you, would you be able to recognize that?
Well, hello everybody. It's that time again. The way we see it, right here, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. on the FFN Network. I'm just gonna come out hard on this one, and then we're just gonna take it from there. So we're just gonna open up with something that we think is a little crazy. I want to give everybody fair warning that Mr. B might, he might snap a little bit, but we're just giving you all a heads up. And this is what we're starting off the show with.
All right. We thank God for that. We're going to dive into the Bible. We want to talk about how the church no longer have the fear of God. Joshua talks about that, I believe, in the 24th chapter, if I'm correct. The churches today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, and to my distinguished enemies, churches today don't fear God. Prosperity, money, women, notoriety, popularity, all that took the place of God. God had been dwindled down to a painting. Some little black or white Jesus hanging on the wall or hanging on the cross. So many Hebrew Israelites, and they say, all of them don't cuss me out, but a lot of them do, and I'm thankful for that. Some said, I really enjoy that man. But why is it that man just won't say Jesus is black? Jesus was a Nazarene. And of course, Nazareth, people was of color. All right, Jesus came out of a region of color. What's the big deal? What do I care if he was black? I do know he wasn't a European. Right. Yes, I do know he was not a European. He came from a region where people was of color like I am. But why I don't preach about that? Because his skin color was never a topic of interest to the apostles or the prophets. If Jesus was my complexion or Dan's complexion, what would we get out of it? Hear me, human family. The black Jesus, his blackness don't mean nothing. You know what means something of importance about Jesus? His teaching and his life. Now, to my Hebrew Israelite brothers, if you really believed in Jesus, how in the world can you be out on the street with such a foul, cussing mouth, calling passerbyers MFs and SOBs? God don't have DAM attached to him. No. Am I right, I say? How can you see a white woman and a white brother walk by? On one video, I think Tony Harvin put up, and I'm glad he did. There were some so-called Hebrew Israelites, and there was a white young lady came by, and she disagreed with them. So one of the so-called Hebrew Israelites knocked her down like she was a man. You don't represent Christ, you represent the devil. That's of the devil. God ain't never tell black folk to go around and murder white people. And God ain't never tell white people that you are better than black people and that black people should be hung by you. So the Hebrew Israelites are nothing but Ku Klux Klan in reverse. You're just black Klansmen. Anytime, listen, you're no better than the Klan. You act like the Klan, you talk like the Klan, the same way the Ku Klux Klan and the skinheads are about black people and Jews. You are the same way about the white folk. So therefore, you are brothers to the Klan. Get me? Jacob said about Simeon and Levi. He said Simeon and Levi are.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is the discussion, the first segment. This is our discussion. There may be a couple of us that disagree. Hey, look, this is up for debate. And again, this is, ladies and gentlemen, the way we see it. So let me bring in the boys tonight, and Mr. Invisible Man here, Donald, Mr. B. What's happening, fine sir?
We'll find out soon enough.
And Mr. Carpenter, what's happening tonight, fellas? And how was your 4th of July? We didn't do our show Tuesday night because Tuesday night was 4th of July. So, we've been gone for a while. So everybody's 4th was good, I might add.
Oh yeah,
Very
same
nice.
old, same old.
Very, very
All
nice
right.
time, yes.
Okay, gentlemen, so are we ready to open this up?
Whatever. I don't know. I'm waiting on y'all,
I,
man.
I'm gonna start with the devil in the room, Mr. B.
Thank you very much,
No, he's
ladies
no
and
devil,
gentlemen. I
bro.
want to thank you very much for tolerating that repugnant, repulsive bullshit that we watched. I haven't got a prejudiced bone in my body, boys, and you know that. And I've said it more of the times than not. I have eaten, I have worked, I have suffered with, and along with people from many walks of life, no matter how they speak with the Almighty or whether or not they even choose to commune with the Lord God, it's their own business. So when some charlatan piece of shit shows up and starts saying that Jewish people are like the Ku Klux Klan, I'm going to call out that piece of shit, and I want you folks to know exactly where this came to me from. I wasn't just out shopping around looking to listen to ministers. No. Here on Facebook, I was added to a group, a very friendly and sounding group. So it says, let's talk about it. See if you can see this. It says, let's talk about it. It's something person who wants to start talking about this or that, or maybe you need some help with something, or whatever it is, whether it's trying to figure out how to get a stain out of your tablecloth or whatever it is. And this lady by the name of Paula Henderson invited me in and so forth. And what we're saying, and so she sends us around. Let's start talking about this. No. You do not send me crap like this and say, let's talk about it. No. There is such a thing as disseminating hurtful, harmful, shameful things. And lady, you just crossed the line. Putting this crap out here. This guy turns around and he's going on about, I don't give a fiddler's fart about what color Jesus was. The fact of the matter is he existed and he lived to help other people. And this charlatan gets up on his stage, gets up in the pulpit and starts telling people that he's speaking like he's representing the Almighty's word. and then turning around and saying the people that God himself chose, God's chosen people, are Klansmen? How the hell can you sleep nights? Gentlemen, please, by all means, I want to hear what you have to say about this, because in case you can't tell, I'm a little pissed.
I got you, Mr. B. I got you. So look,
I,
Yes?
I'm waiting on you, Blake.
You froze up, Blaze.
I'm waiting on Blake.
Well, go ahead, Donnie. I think we're still
Okay.
communicating with the world.
Okay, then. Well, I think you missed the point altogether. I got the total opposite of that. I got the man that's talking about when you want to go out there and use fear tactics and promote or not service people based on the color of their skin. There is no difference between Klansmen and, whether your skin is black, you're a Klansman. Just because the adjective in front of it to describe you as a Klansman changes doesn't mean you're not a Klansman. That doesn't matter. He's speaking truth.
Time
He's
this
a pastor.
man said he
About, wait, stop. Let me say what I'm saying. To me, he didn't say that. He didn't call nobody Jewish and say that Jews are skinheads. He didn't say that. He's saying that black people that promote only black and it's only black, and you say the white man's always out to get you, that's what I took. He's saying you're no different than the skinheads that say black people are all this way just because they're black. You're being a hypocrite. That's what he's calling out, is the hypocrisy of it all.
If you go back, let's see if we can get this video when Blaze comes back to go back and play the last maybe 30 seconds of up to where we stopped. You will see the guy specifically says that the Hebrew Israelites are brothers to the Klansmen. And that is not just saying that only certain people. That is condemning an entire race.
No.
These are the kind of words that genocide is made of.
He's saying people, if you claiming you're a Hebrew Jerusalemite, I can't say that. If you're claiming you're doing those things, but yet you're hitting women and you're doing the same things that the Klansmen are doing, yes, you're being just like them. And that's what he's calling out. He's not saying anybody's acting a certain.
He should make absolutely no issue of the fact that a person might be a Hebrew Israelite if they're beating somebody up. Whether they're a Hebrew Israelite,
so are you going to say that they're not people of like Hebrew Israelite, or there's not black people, there's not white people, there's not Korean people, there's not Asian people?
Bad people exist around the entire spectrum of the world.
Out
there
there smacking people and acting a fool.
It has
They're out
nothing
there
to
acting a fool. So what is the problem with him calling out the hypocrisy of that? That's what I don't understand. Why you're getting upset. To me,
because he's
not
singled
calling
out
nobody.
only one particular faith.
Hey, when Blaze comes back on, I'd like to review this because I'm in the middle.
Stop calling out in his face.
He does make reference to the chosen people, the Jews, as the KKK, Donnie.
Where?
I didn't.
Where? Replay it. Let's go, because I don't hear it that way.
Yeah. I'm great job covering. No, we need you back on.
All right.
Man.
Blaze, so go ahead, Mr. B.
If you could please get back to that video and get us to like maybe within 35, 40 seconds before we ended it. Because our group here seems a little conflicted as to exactly the intent or the context in which this man said these things about the Hebrew Israelites.
Where was this thing posted at? In the text chat or the Facebook Messenger? Where was this thing posted?
It came through on a posting from a group called Let's Talk About It.
Right, but you shared it with us. Did you share it in the group text or the Facebook Messenger?
I have received something from the messenger.
Okay,
I
let me
I,
see.
I had taken because I had sent it an individual message to the person that who was the moderator, and at that point I had copied it from that message and sent it.
Okay, because I'm looking for the video. Okay, here we go.
With such a foul, cussing mouth, calling passerbyers MFs and SOBs. God don't have DAM attached to him. No. Am I right, I say? How can you see a white woman and a white brother walk by? On one video, I think Tony Harvin put up, and I'm glad he did. There were some so-called Hebrew Israelites, and there was a white young lady came by, and she disagreed with them. So one of the so-called Hebrew Israelites knocked her down like she was a man. You don't represent Christ, you represent the devil. That's of the devil. God ain't never tell black folk to go around and murder white people. And God ain't never tell white people that you are better than black people and that black people should be hung by you. So the Hebrew Israelites are nothing but Ku Klux Klan in reverse. You're just black Klansmen. Anytime, listen, you're no better than the Klan. You act like the Klan, you talk like the Klan, the same way the Ku Klux Klan and the skinheads are about black people and Jews, you are the same way about the white folk. So therefore, you are brothers to the Klan. Get me? Jacob said about Simeon and Levi. He said Simeon and Levi are brothers.
That's pretty straightforward,
Okay.
boys.
Okay, did we get to what we were looking for? All right. Mr. B, you was about to say. Sorry, sir.
And that's pretty straightforward if you ask me, boys. I mean, the man came out and he said the Hebrew Israelites are brothers to the Ku Klux Klan. How much
And
more do you need?
but
Done.
are they? Are they?
Well, hey, here's the
Are
thought
they?
real quick. Hey, check it out. Did you not hear him when he first said so-called Hebrew Israelites? So-called. So he's making reference to some individual people acting in an individual way. He's not making reference to the Hebrew Israelites or whatever how you say that.
Oh hell
He's
yeah, he is.
so-called. He said
Oh
that
hell
right
yeah,
as
he is.
day. No, he said it right as day. So-called. He's making
He
reference to the other thing. He's not calling no religious group any names or anything.
for me,
He's making reference to some things.
right? For me, he is right. Okay?
I'm not
What
arguing
he
with
is
him.
saying for me, in my opinion, the way I see it, okay, is he is saying that the Klan hates blacks and Jews. Okay? And he's saying Jewish people totally disrespect women and white people. So he's saying, how are they not different from the Klan?
I don't even know how you go that way off. That's way off for me. I don't even
No,
know.
that's
No,
fucking point on.
No, I don't think so.
no. What
Oh,
I got?
oh,
What I
go ahead.
got? No, Blaze.
Hey,
What
I
I
got a
got?
video too. Go ahead.
No, he's basically telling his flock there in front of him, if you as fucked up as they are, the KKK, you're just a black KKK. That's what I heard.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
most Jewish,
That's what I
right,
heard.
look,
Right. So how is he calling out Jewish people? He's saying
he's
if
not.
you as an individual.
He's saying that how are the Jewish people, the way that they treat white people and the way they treat their women, okay, different from the Ku Klux Klan? That's what he's saying. Okay?
Blaze, I really don't. He's making comparisons, Blaze. That's all he's doing. Making comparisons. Y'all, I think y'all are
Well, that's
blowing
how
up a
you
bunch
get
of
to
smoke where
determine something is
there's no
by
there's no
doing that,
smoke.
Donnie.
You're making comparisons that are on two different ends of the spectrum to me.
I don't think
You guys are
it's
blowing this up out of proportion. You're sensitive to every little thing that's said, but so-called means so-called, not real. There's those that think they are. It's a difference of opinion.
The Israelites are nothing but Ku Klux Klan in reverse.
Rewind it.
They're just black Klansmen. I think Tony
see?
Harvin put up, and I'm glad he did. There were some so-called Hebrew Israelites, and there was a white young
right
lady
there.
came by,
So-called.
and she disagreed with them. So one of this
So-called,
foul,
right there.
cussing mouth, calling passerbyers MFs and SOBs. God don't have DAM attached to him. No. Am I right, I said?
It's DANM, by the way.
How can you see a white woman and a white brother walk by? On one video, I think Tony Harvin put up, and I'm glad he did. There were some so-called Hebrew Israelites, and there was a white young lady came by, and she disagreed with them. So one of the so-called Hebrew Israelites knocked her down like she was a man.
Okay? Abuse. They didn't have any respect for the white woman coming by.
Them two individuals, yes, no, they did not. But what I get from that is, if you want to be one of these so-called the Hebrew Israelites, like he says, I don't know, I can't say it, but if you're one of those type people and that's the kind of lifestyle you live, then you know better not to do that. That's the point he's making. He's not trying to call out anybody's religion or say it's this or that or nothing. He's making comparisons and trying to tell people that if this is the way you act, you are not right.
Mr. B.
Gentlemen, number of years, a lot of you know I have a
Mr.
background.
B, no holds barred.
I'm not. A lot of you know I have a background. I used to be a firefighter EMT, and I used to work in the Boston area. Somerville, Everett, Chelsea, East Boston, and surrounding communities. And I saw bad things that happened to people from around the spectrum. White people, black people, Asian people, whatever. People that were Christian people that were non-Christian,
Okay,
people
Mr.
that
B,
were
I can
agnostic.
feel that. I'll back
And they
your
all beat
credentials.
the hell out of each other, and it had nothing to do with whether or not they happened to be Jewish or Christian or Muslim or whatever, or Wiccan. It was just that they beat the shit out of each other. Okay, fine. You should not be taking and sitting around and saying, well, okay, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, then you're beating the hell out of people. But they should never be making that that kind of assertion or affirmation or whatever else. This, my friends, is the face of anti-Semitism, and it must be stopped.
Agreed. What I want to know is what our audience thinks, man. Don't be shy, man. You can jump in at any time. Look.
You know what's a little concern is that when we see a preacher, especially a brother on the pulpit, we go back to Malcolm X, and who's the other one? He's still living. I can't think of him. He's the leader of the Islam. Farrakhan. There you go. Farrakhan. And I think we try to see similarities between this individual and Farrakhan. And it's funny, I was just on YouTube the other day and I was watching Farrakhan on the Donahue show. And gentlemen in them positions are very, very good with their words, man. They are very good with their words. And I don't think this gentleman is on Louis Farrakhan, but it's really kind of a low blow if that you're trying to make a compare of a sinner as a Christian to KKK. That's I think that's a little out of bounds, man. Just call him a piece of shit. Why do you have to go to KKK? We're trying to let that go, man. Get away from us. We love bringing back the history. We love it. And shit, I think some people like to live it as well. I'm fucking tired of this shit. And I know there's going to be more controversial topics we talk on throughout the show, man. It's just that this country is fucking hurting. And that's all I have for this moment.
I'd like to interject something else here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You guys also know that in my other professional career, I've dealt with for the last 40 years antique period estate jewelry, and I've also expanded out into art and so forth. And I did find one, or have something presented to me. It was an art piece. Do you guys ever hear of somebody called the Bitch of Buchenwald?
No.
Blaze, maybe you might know that name.
Say that again.
The Bitch of Buchenwald.
Oh yeah,
Country
yeah.
of
He
War-
was.
No, it was the lady, the wife of the guy who ran Buchenwald, who was making his human skin lampshades and the art out of the bones of people and so forth that they had killed. Remember?
Yeah, you know something, sir? That's something that I'm gonna have to take a look at. I know it was a woman, but I don't know what it was entailed. You're saying that they were peeling Jew skins off and making lamps with them and shit?
They were making lampshades out of human skin and other things, drying out the skin and doing artwork and so forth. Also, sections of bone from people's bodies. And a number of years ago, I had someone present me a piece of bone that looked awfully familiar to me. And at first, I wasn't certain, but then I was able to identify it as a portion of a human iliac crest, which is the hips. And the painting that was on it, I looked at it, it was an image of a woman, and it was something that was very familiar to me. So I did a little research on it, and guess whose image it was? It was the image of the Bitch of Buchenwald. This piece of the thing, I believe, was turned over to the Shoah Foundation. I was as repulsed with something with that now as I am with this. This kind of talk, this kind of action cannot be allowed to rest. It can't be allowed to fester.
But then you're busting out on the First Amendment, freedom of speech.
No, I'm exercising mine.
That is true. That is true, sir. That is true.
Okay, so you're exercising your right to free speech, and you're saying you don't agree with his. Okay, so you don't agree, just like I don't agree. But what really pisses me off more is we go and in this conversation we're having right now, the color of the man's skin came up in reference to MLK, and then you want to go reference it to other places, right? This is what we did in this conversation. I'm just sitting here talking about this. So there's the reference to the color, the racism that comes into play. Instead of understanding, how about I listen to the whole entire message? And right away, though, as soon as he said Klansmen, we automatically assumed he's talking about white folks. Sometimes he's not. So that's how.
But Donnie, that's a trigger.
That's how short-minded we go. How about maybe that's more of the problem we have? Instead of calling it racism, maybe it's more of that.
I agree. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back in about 3 to 3.5 minutes. And when we come back, Hunter's lawyers work with January CMTE investigation and James Comer. We'll be right back with some James Comer, ladies and gentlemen.
In the distance, light years from tomorrow, far beyond yesterday. She is watching, heart aching with sorrow. She is broken as she waits, hoping when all is said and done, we learn to love and be as one. Oh, starlight,
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to The Way We See It right here on Tuesday night on the FFN Network. Don't forget to check us out on ffnnetwork.live. Go check out our website. It hasn't been worked on in quite a bit, but anyways, go check us out on FFN Radio Network on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kicks. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, FFN Network and all our shows is now on the platform Kicks or Kick. Sorry, just Kick. So yeah, you can check us out there. With that being said, we're gonna blast this off. Me, you, and the boys are going to. Okay, okay. Yeah, let's get started. I'm sorry, Mr. B distracted me. All right.
The Southern District of New York. Congressman Comer, today in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, they announced charges against Gal Luft, who claims to have provided the FBI with information on the Biden family's business dealings in China. He says he's not a Republican or a Democrat. He was just concerned about a potential president of the United States having such incredible conflicts or perhaps be compromised. So, Congressman Comer, your reaction to the timing of that indictment?
Well, the timing is always coincidental, according to the Democrats at the Department of Justice. Look, here's what I know about Gal Luft. He was getting paid, like the Bidens, from CEFC. We want to speak with everyone that we can find who was also on the payroll of CEFC, like the Bidens. And anyone who says we shouldn't take Gal Luft's allegations seriously discounts the fact that the Bidens wanted to share office space with CEFC, even going so far as to saying that Hunter wanted to make an extra set of keys for both Joe Biden, Jill Biden, and the president's brother, Jim Biden. So this company that Gal Luft was working for, who he was getting paid for, is the same company that the Bidens not only were getting paid for, they were also sharing office space with. So we definitely want to hear more about these allegations, and we want to see the notes from the FBI meeting. They sent 6 FBI agents, according to Gal Luft, to Brussels to interview him. I mean, obviously, they were concerned about something he had to say. There's some level of credibility there. So there are a lot of questions here, and it's just amazing the Department of Justice moves so quickly against some people. But then, Laura, the ultimate irony is one of the charges they levied against him was not being a registered foreign agent, which is the main thing that we've said the Bidens were all along, unregistered foreign agents.
All right, so there you have it. Let me bring the boys back in, and we can discuss this with Mr. Carpenter, Mr. Donald, and, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. B.
And the bell.
So, Mr. Carpenter, would you like to begin this segment?
No, not really, but I just had an idea. I'm going to get me a train horn. I want to blast that. Who? No, I'll sit back on this one, man.
Oh, okay. Donald?
No, this one just blew me out of the water, man. I wasn't ready for this one.
Donald, would you like to begin, please?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I didn't know it was muted. I'm asking, when does the impeachment process begin? Because you did Trump twice on shit way less than this. So when are we going to start this process? I don't want to hear shit from Marjorie Green. Get her bullshit. Get the bullshit the other girl had that she wanted, Boebert girl. Get all that shit together. Start the damn process. Let's go.
Yes,
There's
Donnie.
no other way he's not
yes,
corrupt.
Donnie. Keep going, bro.
This shit about take your son to work day every fucking day has to cease. There's no way that this fucking dude should be next to these key leaders and all these heads of state and these presidents. And there's no way this dude should be there. He should be either in a rehab awaiting pretrial confinement or something else, because this is bullshit. This is flat out bullshit. You lie about when they're there, because we have data and there's logs and aircraft. So his dadgum stinking press secretary, Carrie Pierre Shea Jean, whatever, I can't say your name. The lady is sometimes it's amazing the shit that comes out of her mouth, because it makes absolutely no fucking sense. And she just makes it worse because she can't keep hiding the lies. So that's what I'm saying. When is this all going to come together and we're going to start? Hey, I know it's only 18 months, but it'll be 18 fucked up months either way with Kamala or Joe in office. So either way, we're fucked. Probably for another fucking 24 to 36.
Mr. B.
Where do I begin? Well, we heard so many different things about investigations, about collusion, and this and that, and whatever it is, and then obstruction of justice, and blah blah, this and that, and yada yada, and all that stuff, and everything around the sun. And then, of course, they had the things about these phony sex scandals and things, and all of this stuff that they've done to Donald Trump, which didn't amount to a hill of beans. Now you've got something that's concrete, and you've got this staring you in the face, and the people are still looking at it like they're looking on a fishbowl, waiting for somebody to take and drop fish food so they can watch the fish eat the food. What the hell is the matter with this country? There should be so much public outcry. I mean, the people that are in these offices that are behind all of these things should be hanging themselves. They should be so embarrassed or afraid that they've committed such acts of treason. They've sworn to preserve, protect, and defend. And what are they doing? They're covering, they're dodging. And they're raping the public of the security of their homes. Please, by all means,
Mr. Carpenter.
tell me that I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. And I'd like to add, there's a couple of things. And Blaze, I apologize, sir. It's just when it comes with Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, my mind just goes everywhere, man. And I wanted to see where the group was at. It's a moral decay of what's going on there in the White House. The cocaine, the incompetent press conference girl or guy. She's an LGBTQ. She
Yeah.
she holds up the LGBTQ flag. She protects that more than the American
Are you
flag.
talking about
On the
Pierre?
other hand,
Okay.
yes, Karen John,
Mhm.
whatever. And no, man, it's and like Mr. B, or was it Donnie that said if this was Trump, he'd have been, 6 steps away from the firing
Yes,
squad.
they impeached him for less. That's what Donnie said.
Yes, yes, sir. And where's the accountability for Joe? Joe's been there 50 years, man, in that government. He knows how shit
Oh,
works.
yeah.
And he's been developing this shit, man. This Ukraine shit. He has the gall to say Ukraine ain't ready to go in NATO, and like we are or something. Again, who the fuck are we? We are United States of America, man. Why do we have to worry about other people's shit? Let fucking China do it. But we still need to dominate the market, man. Let them be the police. Let them occupy more land. Fine. As long as our dollar is the world's currency, we have no problem. But we do have a problem when it comes to currency. And Donnie, I know you can elaborate on that. We've discussed this off the podcast and stuff. But we got serious problems, man. Serious. And you made mention how was your 4th of July? I don't know how many more we're going to get more of them. That is the birthday of the country, right?
Yes.
Yes, that is the day that the independence got signed. I mean, the Constitution, yeah, all that shit got signed, blah, blah, blah.
So I don't think in 30 to shit, I don't think in 50 years I don't think we'll be celebrating a birthday anymore. We'll be celebrating some type of birthday in this country
Oh, we're gonna stay.
of
Well, we're
social.
gonna stay with this. All right. Now we're gonna stay with this right now. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your britches, please. Because I'm sorry, this article video that I just found is pretty much up the alley of Mr. Carpenter is talking about tonight. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get up the.
Well, while you're
Oh,
looking
I
for the
have it. Go
video, I'd
ahead, but
like.
you can talk.
Okay,
You should be
no,
talking.
no, I'd like to address my last name today. That I'm using. It's Master Sergeant Charles R. Carpenter. I learned with a Cut V, basically a military Tahoe.
Yeah.
What it can't do on a tank drill when an M1 tank company's coming
Yes,
through you,
sir.
and how you just your asshole puckers up and you fucking go right off the tank trail, and then Big
Yeah.
Carpenter gets out screaming at me, grabs the fucking bumper on the left side of the truck and says, "Go, Marrera," and I floor it, and we got out of the tank trail. And I told them I was scared. I didn't think they could see me. And to find out the M1 tanks, the drivers and all military vehicles, tank wise, not wheel vehicles, they all have real good night vision sights and they can see you as clear as day, but it's fucked up. You can't see them. And they're about 70 tons coming right at
Yeah,
you.
that's a loud thunder that
Yeah.
is coming at you. It's loud. Get the fuck out the
Yes.
way. It's just coming
Yes,
through.
sir. But that's without further ado, Blaze. That's all. I
Okay.
just
Yep.
and I
That
and I
part of
told
the
I
time
told
where we
I
introduce. I got you, bro. All
yes,
right,
sir.
now here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
A Reuters investigation took a deep dive into which politicians were direct descendants of slave owners. And what they found was President Joe Biden and every living former president except one are direct descendants of slave owners, which includes Jimmy Carter, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and even Barack Obama. That's right. Which name didn't you hear? Donald J. Trump. That's because President Trump's ancestors came to America after slavery was abolished. Was anybody shocked by this, Jesse?
I absolutely wasn't. I mean, honestly, Donald Trump has been somebody who has been an advocate for civil rights. He desegregated Mar-a-Lago when he purchased the property. He won a civil rights award. He has been very proud of including all Americans into every aspect of business. In fact, the first female to design a skyscraper in New York was because of Donald Trump. He's been inclusive all the time. And so it just kind of, to me, fits that DNA because it didn't get passed down generationally, any type of discriminatory attitudes or prejudices, because they kind of came here with a clean slate. I like that.
And Jesse, before 2010, can anyone on this panel remember any report or accusation that President Trump, when he was not political, was racist?
Oh, no. He was in every hip-hop movie. I remember seeing him on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, Donald Trump was the man.
He was on Fresh Prince.
He was on Fresh Prince. And he also, they said, in a lot of the rap, they would say, rolling like Trump. Or
I remember that.
Yeah. So Trump has a legacy of being cool.
Does Fresh Prince get you credibility?
No.
A resident rap commentary.
No, she is right about hip hop embracing Trump because Trump is very, audacious and he's bold about his wealth. So yeah, I mean, she's absolutely correct about that. I would say I would disagree with no one accused him of being racist. First of all, the federal government did in the 70s when he put a C on people's apartments and was segregating apartments that he owned in Brooklyn. So the idea that he's never been called racist. The other thing is Central Park 5, if anybody is familiar with them, now the exonerated 5, actually one of them actually just got elected to the city council in New York City. So people have said that, and if you read John O'Donnell's book about I hate it. I want the short guys that wear yarmulkes. So again, there have been allegations. We can't say that there haven't been allegations. And she is right that he does have immigrant parents, or at least his father, I believe, was a descendant of immigrant parents, and his mother was from Scotland, I believe. So he does not have the direct connection to slavery. That is absolutely true. There are allegations. I'm not saying it's true. There are allegations that his father was a part of a certain organization that was anti-black. Now,
yes,
again,
father was a racist.
All that aside,
Come on.
All that aside,
Well, you know,
I don't think that this means necessarily anything. We're talking about people's ancestors. So let me just say that there's no guilt on
Let me
anybody.
just jump here on this. So
Sure.
first of all, you're talking about Joe Biden, who very famously was the one who led the charge on the crime bill back in the 90s, didn't want his kids to participate in any aspect of busing, someone who palled around with a former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. You're not going to find that about Donald Trump. That was Joe Biden. But Joe Biden was palling around with the former Grand Wizard of the Klan. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But here's the thing that I think that we're all missing. The fact that Reuters did not set out to say that the initial aspect, we're going to go and show that President Trump is the only living president to not have an ancestor who is a slave owner. They set out to try to find out if they could stick President Trump. And I'm surprised actually the editor even let it go to print on the fact that it cleared him. The way that we see the media pushing division and trying to divide our country further on something like this. And for the record, I mean, look, if someone said that someone in Biden's family centuries ago was involved in that, it doesn't have anything to do with Joe Biden. The fact that too many people in media try.
Mr. B.
Can't hear. Oh, I'm sorry?
Mr. B.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing I'd like to say is I think the best thing about that video that we saw there was the female panelist. She's built like a brick shit house. Other thing that I have to say about these things, again, talking about Donald Trump was accused of this, Donald Trump was accused of that. Number one, I believe, Blaze, you were correct in saying, I believe it was Donald Trump's father is the person who went around and putting the letter C on certain apartments or something of that nature.
Yes.
Whatever.
His father was a fucking racist bastard.
And yeah, but you know,
so automatically people think like the fucking apple don't fall, fall from the tree. You know what I mean?
My father was a different man from a different time and used different words. I haven't carried over with that. I never saw eye to eye with that, and I'm not going to. Okay.
Right.
So what is it they say about
you can't call a munyo anymore? Yeah.
Right. Okay. And this fellow is saying, "Oh, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's allegations." Great, let's make some allegations about him. Let's say this guy, I heard allegations that he was eating the toes off of toddlers in a hospital in Brooklyn. You can make any kind of allegation. What the hell does it mean? Nothing.
Who did that?
Oh, the guy that was saying about the allegations. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're flipping the script.
You can make an allegation about anything. Doesn't mean it's true. And the more outlandish, the more people want to believe it. It's stupid.
Donald.
No, I think that was more like what the guy at the end was saying. That was a political ploy that backfired. And that's just that. But once again, this is why racism doesn't end in our country, because it creates conversation, which in turn, somehow, some way, it creates dollars for people. What the fuck does it matter who's have descendants of slaves anymore? We're all mutts. At this point. I mean, what does it really matter? So and like I like what the other guy says. I think there's a bigger picture being missed. If that's your headline for your story, then I'm sorry for your news or whatever it is you're trying to poke out, because that's just absolutely pathetic to me. There is so much more going on in our world that we could talk about. The economy, how we just sit here and keep getting into conflict after conflict after conflict. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. And I know I shared that article in Facebook Messenger with y'all. It talks about how, yes, these conflicts create new weapons and jobs in America. It gets new weaponry to, our military as we have it, because we give them our old stock. Yes, it does create that, and it creates lots of money. But it's the justification and the reasoning behind it that just doesn't work anymore. We're off to liberate the world and make sure there's peace. And no, don't say that shit. This Ukrainian war aid shit has just been a money-making machine, and that shit ain't gonna stop until they dry up every vein of gold they can get.
Yeah, and I'll add the military industrial complex machine, which myself was a part of. Um, it's rough. It's tough out there on the military industrial complex, but just like Big Farmer, the military industrial complex. What's another one that is very powerful in the country?
Oh, you guys, what? Let's do
School.
military, pharma, education.
Yep, and everyone they're talking about, they all pay good fucking hourly wages.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking $10 an hour,
No.
$20 an hour, or 25. I'm talking $30 to $80 an hour, depending what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it is shared, but it is not shared that way employees would like to be. Fuck, man. Getting back to Joe Biden, man, I just feel Joe Biden right now. He's doing the 12 step. The 12 step is for, alcoholics and drug addicts and stuff. And it talks about making men's with people that you fucked in your
Step
past,
7.
like, yeah, like your mother, you stole money from your mother to buy drugs, you stole your dad's cigarettes. Anyways, so Joe Biden here, it seems like he's making men's, to the people that he screwed. And like that 94 crime bill, he made some disgusting comments about fucking he didn't want his kids to go to a school looking like a jungle. That motherfucker would get shot now if he would say that. I just don't get it with this guy. But I made a comment to Donnie the other day. We did 20 years in the army. Good God, we'd have done 50 years in the army, we'd been just as corrupt as Joe Biden. Just as corrupt. And I leave it at that, guys.
That's why there needs to be time limits on stuff. You put it on a president, guess what? It needs to start trickling down into senators and congressmen.
But dude, this guy's been there for 50
Exactly. That's
years,
the point,
man.
Demas.
Wait,
There needs to be term limits.
50 fucking years.
Term limits on that shit. No more of this.
Man, they all talk that shit, Donnie. They talk that shit in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. They're gonna keep talking that shit.
No, but that's I know, but
look what this country's being run by. A bunch of old fucking people in their 80s. Look, I couldn't do my job anymore to keep up with the young bloods. I quit. I retired. I can't do it no more. I physically and mentally can't. And Joe Biden should take that in consideration. But no, there's so much more in it for him, man. There is so much more. I am totally disgusted when I hear Joe Biden's name now. I just put my head down and say, "Wow."
Who
I need
isn't?
my time back.
Who isn't?
But why are the polls still hold him high, man?
It doesn't mean that it's true.
What polls?
No, oh well, they got. I understand the polling system, Rasmussen, the college polls and stuff, but they still hold fucking Biden neck and neck with Trump, man. I don't understand that.
Listen, if the media won him the election fucking 4 years ago, I mean, they can certainly manipulate stupid little shit like this. You know what I mean? So
the only thing Joe Biden had to say about the polls the last time I heard him talk about it was they make a great vodka.
They make a great vodka. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the way we see it, we'll be right back in approximately 3.5 minutes. With that being said, when we come back, we're going to talk about how the military service is having a hard time recruiting, and it's just going to start going woke. We're going to let the little sissies in as long as they can. I couldn't get in because of a bad eye. Wait till you see how they're letting these motherfuckers come in, no problem. Be right back right after this break.
distance, light years from tomorrow, far beyond yesterday. She is watching, heart aching with sorrow. She is broken as she waits, hoping when all is said and done, we learn to love and be as one. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna make it right before tomorrow. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna find a place where we belong, where we belong. And so you know, you'll never shine alone. There are shadows deep in the horizon that leave us scared and so afraid. As the fallout of a world divided, it brings her tears and so much pain. So we take cover from the dark, hoping to find where we can start. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna make it right before tomorrow. Oh, starlight, don't you cry, we're gonna find a place where we belong, where we belong. And so you know, you'll never shine alone. The starlight will find a place where we belong, where we belong.
All right, and we're back. Bro, everybody gets that same break on their show. Everybody. I mean, I'd be making 100 videos a week to have a different one. Okay, so, welcome back to The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. And I've been watching the past couple of days that the military is, they're putting together a recruitment before the recruitment. You know what I mean? Oh, this is what's going to happen to you, young Billy. All you got to do is stop eating fudgicles. You know, so let's take a listen and a peek at this, ladies and gentlemen.
The U.S. military is facing a growing recruiting shortfall, a shortfall so large that legislators are getting concerned.
The Army has to recognize that there's been an evolution in that young population, and if you're going to target that young population for service, you've got to make it appealing to them.
The pool of potential recruits has been dropping for years.
So the three biggest reasons for a small pool of eligible recruits are criminal backgrounds, healthcare and obesity specifically, and financial issues.
The Army and the other military services this year are facing what they're describing as the most challenging recruiting environment since the all-volunteer force era began in 1973.
The latest figures show that only about 23% of young men and women in the United States meet the criteria to join, whether that's physical fitness, health, criminal background check.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are obviously very concerned about the military's recruitment efforts because this is coming at a time where Russia's war in Ukraine is changing global order, as well as China saber-rattling with Taiwan and in the South China Sea.
When unemployment is low, the military struggles to get recruits, and with unemployment hovering around 3.5%, it can be tough to convince young people to sign up. The fiscal year for the U.S. Army ends in September, and the Army has only reached 50% of its recruiting goal for the year as of mid-July. The U.S. military needs a lot of people. The U.S. Army alone must get tens of thousands to sign up every year to replace those who leave the service. The Army had a goal of signing up 60,000 people this year, but according to the Secretary of the Army, they could end up close to 15,000 short of that goal.
Each sister service branch is going to also have to think about their retention tactics, whether it's offering enlistment bonuses or other incentives to keep people in our current military force.
One tool the military has in times like these are big cash bonuses. These bonuses usually apply to certain understaffed jobs and also have stipulations such as finishing training to be fully paid out. The Army is offering $40,000 for Special Forces candidates, and the Navy is offering bonuses that can range up to over $100,000 for eligible veterans to sign up. Keeping troops in who are looking to exit the service is another way to bolster numbers. The Marines have recently had some success in convincing people to stay in. A major hang-up to recruiting more new soldiers are the fitness and academic requirements.
Some services are struggling more than the others. The Army is certainly struggling the most. They're also the biggest, so that would just make sense. They're revisiting some of the fitness standards and some of the academic standards right now to try and scramble for the end of this fiscal year.
If you're going to be a cyber technician, do you really need to be able to lift X number of pounds and run 5 miles? I think over time we're going to have to target the expectations of our service members based on the kinds of jobs they're doing.
When it comes down to it, everybody is a foot
The military has found itself getting dragged into domestic politics more than in the past and in new ways.
Disproportionately of the age group of American youth that we're talking about, the military recruits from certain geographical concentrations of America. It's more geographical than it is class or race or gender specific. And these areas tend to be more conservative.
Those that tend to be interested come from southern states where we have a lot of installations and from families in which there has at least been one family member that served. So 80% of our service members now have legacy in their background.
We're entering a space where more people on the right and more people on the left have more bones to pick with the military and the kind of life that they're going to have to live there.
You know, there's this perception about the military is going woke, and there are all these cultural wars inside the military. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure how much of that actually trickles down to that young 18-year-old recruit from middle America who's trying to decide what he or she wants to do to improve themselves and their future.
The state-by-state fight over abortion rights could also become a factor. Military personnel stationed in one state could have access to abortion rights while others may not.
There's a potential that you'll have some folks who are hesitant to join because they don't know if they're going to get sent somewhere where they don't have access to health care that they believe is a human right.
Health factors have always been a reason for the shrinking pool of recruits, but new factors are exacerbating the crisis.
You've now got legal marijuana in much of America, and that's not okay for the troops to have with it not being federally legalized.
The information age is also changing how recruits are screened.
Perhaps certain data and information that's available now to recruiters that wasn't available in the past can possibly skew or change attitudes towards a potential recruit.
Military Health System Genesis is a new computer system that connects a variety of healthcare record systems together, allowing a recruiter to see a candidate's health background during the recruiting process and determine if they are eligible to serve.
When they turned on electronic health record systems that made it so they could see the entirety of applicants' prescription histories and almost all of their medical records, whether they were seeing military or civilian doctors. Think if your medical records are in MyChart or one of those online health management portals, the Army can see those now if you're an applicant trying to join because you sign a records release as part of that process. And so informal practices of coaching recruits to omit certain parts of their medical history to streamline their enlistment came to a screeching halt.
In a bureaucracy as large as this one, the Defense Department is the largest bureaucracy on the planet. And one as large as this one, I'm okay with informed individuals making, specific choices on a case-by-case basis to sort of let in certain people when needed, even if it's a gray area of the rules. And this would certainly, this could slow that down, that transparency.
I also would put it on the Army in particular to look at whether or not that should disqualify. If you had ADHD as a child, but no longer have ADHD, why should that be a disqualifying factor? If you had asthma,
whether the military is the right environment for people who have previously shown symptoms.
Well,
all right. Let's start off from my boy, Mr. Carpenter.
I love that. I love it. One problem is the people that we have in Congress. That one spear lady from California. That's the problem right there. She's like fighting the army. You need to do this. You need to do that. No. There's a standard set, and it's very easy. It's black and white. And then when you got fucking bitches like AOAC saying the military gets paid, gets paid too much, who the fuck is she, man? Who is she? Now, getting back to the re-enlistment, yeah, there is problems. They're going to have to drop their standards to make the data, the training seats.
The
That's what they always.
You can't drop the physical aspect of this, D. Mr.
Look,
Carpenter.
no.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
No, you can't. And there's three avenues a kid goes in the military. You gotta make them morally qualified, mentally qualified, and physically. Them three areas. When you the moral one is the one where a fucking recruiter can help a kid. And just by the simple, a little fucking parking like that MSH Genesis, that health thing, it fucked the kid because he got 7 stitches and it took 6 months. It's bureaucracy, man. It's just full of bureaucracy. Everybody wants to put their hands in it and say, I just want to make it better. No, you're making it worse. And that Democrat in there, Spear, she is the biggest problem. Now I'm going to jump to another area. Right now, the Marine Corps does not have a commandant in their office. And there is 256, I believe, right now pending in the Department of Defense promotions at the general level staff, the flag officers. And it's being held up by one gentleman, and he just wants the White House to call him the commander in chief. He should be in charge. If he's not fucking somewhere in Europe lost. But Senator Tuberville, he says he will not sign this. And the biggest thing is the abortion issue. Abortion is not legal in the United States. To the states, you do what the fuck you want. But what the military wants to do, say if the soldier resides in Texas in Fort Hood, and he wants fucking probably he's have abortions now too. But if she wants an abortion, they will fly her to a place like New Mexico where I think abortions are still legal. Yeah, and they're going to pay for it and all, man. And, Tuberville, he knows he's not going to win it, but he just wants some clarity to this. And another big thing that's happening with DOD, these doctors, is that they're into this transgender bullshit. And, at DOD, and they're not military, they're the civilians. They're the ones that come highly educated from all these Harvards and Yales and all that shit.
Yep.
And they, the military is a big guinea pig for the country. We usually try it out first, then we hand it over to the civilians and stuff with a lot of shit. And I really think they want to lead the way on this transgender bullshit, this chemical castration of fucking kids. It's sick. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay, we're a news outlet, but go ahead, Donald.
No, you're going to have recruiting problems, but for me, the one chick that says you're going to have to recruit and change the standards to each individual job. No, I can't, because like Mr. B said, we're forgetting that your primary MOS or military occupational skill, your first job is to be an infantry person. It's to fire a gun and shoot some people. And if it means you put something on your back and you walk, 10, 20 miles a day, well, I guess that's what you do. So yes, there are physical aspects that have to be met. Well, do I care whether I've seen females pull the trigger faster than some males, bro? It's the truth. And there's some gay dudes that, when we were downrange, they kept that stuff where they wanted it, and they were some of the best working dudes in the fucking FOB, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
That's why I say I don't have a
nobody
fucking
cares.
problem.
But yeah, you can't drop those standards like that, because when bullets start flying, nobody gives a shit. But if I have to drag that 205-pound guy and I only weigh $125, you know, that's going to be a problem, and that just makes me a lot. You create a liability for me. You're going to get me hurt because you got to chase.
Yes.
No, man, you can't do that.
Right. I
But
bro, Mr. Carpenter.
no, but there's a lot of incentives they're trying to give these kids, man. And that gentleman talking about $100,000 bonus, I read that. The only thing I was offering, and this was back in the 90s, the Army College Fund, and that was just an addition off the GI Bill to give the kid 40,000 hard cash when he gets out to college.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't go to his pocket; it went to a college, a reputable one. But no, man, this country needs a gut check, man, and I think China's the one that's going to do it to us.
Yeah.
Mr. B.
Time was, and I know maybe you gentlemen may or may not remember this, but I remember it from when I was a kid. It was actually considered to be an honorable thing to serve the country in the military. It was something that was expected of you. It was compulsory and so forth, but still, it was something that was looked upon. It was a wonderful thing, and they pat you on the back. Okay, son, we'll see you in 4 years or however many years. This, that,
You
whatever.
was respected
Off they go.
quite a bit
Right.
more as well.
And the person going to do it wanted to do it. Why? Because they saw the necessity. They knew that in order for the country to remain as wonderful and bedroomy and happy and fat and factories running and everything else doing things, they had to be there so that somebody else couldn't come in here and push us and show us around. Well, now Johnny and Susie and Billy and Kay are more interested in sitting around playing with their Xboxes and their Barbie dream house or whatever the hell it is than doing anything at all for the country and doing something, everything for themselves.
Look, we fought wars for 30 years. You know what I mean? Longer than that. Pretty much in a row. You know, World War II. Well, you had World War One, then you had fucking World War II. Okay, which were both against the Germans, by the way. And you had the Korean War. You had fucking Vietnam. You had these wars were in a row. You know what I mean? Now,
wars are the way to keep the factories running. That's what wars are these days.
Well,
okay. World War I, World War II, necessary. The Korean police action, Korean War was necessary. Vietnam, not so much. But they went ahead and did it anyway. Now the rest of the things we have over here with Noriega and Panama and this and that and everything else, going to Grenada, okay, a bunch of school students that went to a stupid school and got themselves locked up. That was their own damn fault. Should have left them there on the island. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't our business, but they did it anyway. Okay, fine. Great. A showpiece.
Grenada wasn't considered a war.
No, that was good training for the Rangers. That was
good
a
training exercise.
Okay. Yeah, training or whatever else.
And that's what them guys looked at it. They what you feel, Mr. B. They looked at it like that. This was a bullshit mission.
The point I'm trying to make is we're getting off. Again, pushing over to the right a little bit here. Is that for 30 years we were in war, okay, and then we took a break for fucking say 20, 22 years, 21 years, and then we had the Gulf War, and then we had the Afghan War, all this shit like that. Recruitment is down because, again, pansies, whatever you want to call them, parents today, you know what I mean, just telling their kids, oh, don't don't join the army or anything. Shit's happening. Shit's crazy right now. You understand? Go ahead,
Wait,
Mr.
so
Carpenter.
let me ask you this,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Let me ask you this. So you recruited this kid from high school, junior year. He is your recruiter senior year. He's a top kid. He gives you like 5 or 7 recruits of that school class, which is a good number. But the kid goes on his prom and he's ready to ship in 2 months, but he gets a DWI. You know that fucks that kid. Why can't we just now? Why can't we just push that under the rug? And there's more kids out there that are under that situation. They want to serve, but there's some bullshit fucking
Well,
dude.
God
When
forbid.
I no, hold up. When I was recruiting, I never had problem of people fucking wanting to join. The problem is, could I get them in that time? I used to keep a 3x5, I mean a 5x8 card, big white card. I used to write names down, and them names were GED kids, and I have to wait during a certain time. But I'll tell you what, out of them 20 numbers, 10 would go, and they will score better than a high school senior.
Right.
I didn't make mention they were GED kids.
Right. I
And
understand.
they will score higher, better than an ASVAB, and then the Army return will make them a fucking sheet sweeper. The system needs to be overhauled. I agree. But it's got to start with the top. Who the fuck wants to be in the Army right now with Joe Biden as president?
Nobody.
Okay, can I say? Can I get a hand in here?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course you can.
Just like we've talked about many times before, and I've said it before, Demas. The military doesn't practice democracy; they defend it. There are certain standards that have to be met. Those standards need to be met, or you go on about your way. Do they need to get smarter on what they accept, like the case where you said it, where Knucklehead got a DWI 2 days before he leaves? Yeah, no, Judge. That's where Judge is, and so maybe people do a little more and say, you know what? At time served, he's off in the military. There you go. You know that military, go to war or go to jail? Well, maybe we need to do more of that.
Right. Fucking touche, Don.
Yes,
exactly.
I'm just
That's
saying.
exactly
But
what
it's
should
not
happen in
happening.
that court.
It's not
That's
happening.
exactly what it should
It's
happen.
not happening. You get a liberal district attorney, and you're joining the Army. Oh, she's gonna he or she's gonna tear you up, bro. She ain't gonna give you that. Cause one, they look at it as an insult. Why are you leaving my community? This is how they fucking think, man.
Some
They
of
don't
them.
think of the big picture. They don't think of the big picture, which is the United States. All they care about is that little community. And I'm sorry, I got a phone
But
call.
that's what I'm saying. I'll take that attorney judge or whatever out. I'll make policy that says this is what we can do, and we'll throw an exception. Bye bye. Have a good day. But I'm just saying they know they got to change the standards, and they got to get. There's probably some computer system they need to go in there, do some recoding. I get that, but don't drop the standards to a point where you cater to someone, and we're not going to go and drop standards and cater to whether you want to be called a certain genre or if
man.
I want to identify. No, it's XY chromosomes. That's what you get.
Let me ask this. What happened to the days where the judge, if you had somebody who was a screw up or whatever else, they said, kid, you're either going into prison or you're going in the Army.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
What
happened to these days?
But that's what I'm saying. They used to have that back in the day.
That's the Alvin Braggs. That's the Gassons.
Yeah.
No,
that's
all these
Cajones, if
fucking
you ask me.
Yeah, man. Yep. But see, a lot of these judges back in the day too, they served.
Right.
And
Also
and
a
if
good
you get
point,
one that doesn't serve, which you probably won't, they could care less, man. That Democrat House representative, she's the problem. She is the problem. AOC's the problem. Joe Biden's the problem.
I can agree with you,
dude.
No, you're right.
Dude,
if you
like,
walk a mile
no,
in
like
that booth,
Jimbo.
Oh, I'm sorry, Demas.
No, like Jimbo says, look at China. They don't put stupid motherfuckers at the table, man. No. I'm serious. We do.
Yeah, we do.
We do. And it's all corruption based. You know, I'm pretty sure China and President Xi is going to be patted, when he leaves office and stuff. But I don't think he's fucking corrupt like the Bidens are.
But he
I
don't
really
need to
don't.
be though. Just
Yeah,
him being a dictator alone
The
says
Bidens
he's
are corrupt enough for everybody.
Yeah.
So my tip for the day, man, is Powerade in 100-degree weather. And what you do is you freeze them for like 35 minutes before the juice and the ice melts, and you want to get a slush going. Oh, it's the best fucking thing on the world.
There you
man.
go, brother.
Right,
The best thing.
We got people in charge of making decisions on how we're going to go to war, how many people to Powerade slushes. Wow.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know, but I agree with you.
No, yes. You
There's
just
got
let
to
him
be
go
more.
sometimes. You just got to
There's
let him
gotta
go sometimes.
Maybe
All
be
right,
more
all right,
veteran
all right.
involvement.
Okay, I'm gonna do my
I love you, brother.
Donnie, what are you eating, boy?
Oh, here he goes.
My commercial
Hold
ad
up.
now again. Girl Scout cookies, buy them, ladies and gentlemen. They're a great thing, and they go for a great purpose. Great, okay. Now that we're doing commercials,
What's the going rate for them? $5 a box?
I
now?
believe so.
Yeah, it's $5 a box.
Oh, I support.
But wait a minute here. I got a quick one. All right.
Really? At your
Listen,
age?
here is the thing. How come the fucking Girl Scouts get to stay the Girl Scouts, but girls can fucking join the Boy Scouts?
That's how fucked up we are
Don't
now.
get me
How
started.
How come?
Don't get me started.
And you know something that will be covered in my segment.
Shouldn't that say
we can add
boys
that
and
too.
Girl Scout cookies now? That box?
And I think it's gonna be we
Hey.
or they cookies.
Just like CMT, country music, BET.
Yeah.
You know, they all have their rules. You know.
That's another thing.
It's.
Do you don't think that that's racist in itself to have your
What?
own channel, the Black Entertainment Television?
No, I don't think
You don't
so.
think that's
I mean,
racist? No.
no,
Oh,
look,
okay. Then I should
let
call
me
this.
ask you
Then
this.
I should
No,
call
no,
this
no,
a fucking white
no,
television.
please, listen.
See how fast we get taken down.
Listen.
I'm
Let
listening.
me ask you this: Do you eat a meal that's kept kosher?
No.
Do you? No.
Fred.
Okay.
I know what the fuck kosher means.
No. Okay, but do you eat?
I know you weren't
Okay,
Jewish.
I'm not. I'm not.
Sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't
okay.
at you,
Do you-
Mr. B. That was
okay.
at Blaze.
Do you eat black-eyed peas and collard greens?
No, I don't like
and
that
stuff?
shit. No, I don't like
Okay,
it.
fine. Well, all right.
Get to your point.
This is food for people who like that. This is food for people who ascribe to this.
No, you're missing the whole
a matter of
point,
their
man.
conscience.
If I was to call this network white television, we'd get taken down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So
I don't think
why?
we get taken down.
If I have a
Black
deli and I call it
Entertainment Television?
Jeff's Jewish Deli,
You know?
is that racist? No. It's describing what the food is. It's describing what the entertainment is. Okay, fine. What? There aren't black entertainers? Sammy Davis Jr. Hello, come in.
Again, I don't understand how this is going like this, man.
No, it's not, Blaze.
Blaze,
No,
I think
Blaze,
what you're trying to say is, yes, there's the guys. There's like you make reference to a guy 20 years or so ago. He tried to make the National Caucasian College Fund, and he got shot down real quick because it got voted racist. But you're trying to bring out the irony, and nobody wants to hear the irony of,
Well,
that,
again,
I know I'm using
United
my kids
Negro
for
College
that's
Fund.
just
Right,
it.
okay.
We're so fucking taught right now to fucking just automatically defend something like that.
But I'm just saying, there's so
Okay,
many
because
people
it
out
doesn't
there.
matter what it is, though. There shouldn't be an excuse for it. If I put white television, I'm a racist. But they can put black entertainment television. That's all I'm saying.
So you're gonna be wet, and they're gonna be BET.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go white television. You're gonna white entertainment
Yeah.
TV.
Okay. So
Then that would clear you. But if you'd go white TV,
Wet TV would
then
go over
you have
very
a
well in the
problem.
porno set.
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
Wet
stick
TV,
around.
folks. Let's go check this out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick around for the last segment of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. Don't go nowhere, boys. And When we come back, we are going to discuss a little bit of child trafficking, Epstein, and all that other fucking fun bullshit. So with that being said, stick around. We'll be right back.
To betray, feeding on your hungry eyes. I bet you're not so civilized. Well, isn't love primitive? A wild gift that you wanna give. Break out of captivity and follow me, stereo jungle child. Love is the kill. Your heart still wild, shooting at the walls of heartache. Bang, bang, I am the warrior. Well, I am the warrior, and hard to win if you survive. The warrior, you talk to me. Your eyes touch me physically. Stay with me, we'll take the night as passion takes another bite. Oh, who's the hunter? Who's the game? I feel the beat, call your name. I'll hold you close in victory. I don't wanna tame your animal style. You won't be caged from the cold wild, shooting at the walls of heartache. Bang, bang, I am the warrior. Well, I am the warrior, and hard to win if you survive. The warrior, the warrior, I am the warrior. Shooting at the walls of heartache. The warrior, I am the warrior, and hard to win. Hard to win if you survive. The warrior.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for sticking around for the last segment of The Way We See It right here on the FFN Network. Don't forget to go check us out on FFNnetwork.live, okay? And also check out all the other shows here on the FFN Network. I'm trying to find something here. I just can't. No. All right, I found it. Okay, so with that being said, let's light it up there, Blazy boy.
These power players a priority for us right now? Can we even touch them?
You know, it's like everything. It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
This is
John McCain's wife saying that.
Hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
This is Cindy McCain, the wife of John McCain, admitting at a conference that everyone knew what Epstein was up to, and this is the wife of a former Republican presidential candidate. You know, that's hugely significant to say that it was just known and that powerful circles did nothing about it. And so that directly undercuts this whole narrative that, oh, it was just Epstein and he conned everyone. But this didn't get really any mainstream coverage at all.
People need to understand the fact that government, the financial world, specifically the banking world, have enabled Jeffrey Epstein's crimes.
So that right there is a documentary, and I can't wait to finish watching it. It was pretty intriguing. Anyhow, that's why I feel that he was murdered. I mean, John McCain's wife coming out and sitting there and even saying it. So obviously her husband had to have conversations with her about it, and the fact that this something's gonna happen to this guy or whatever, and everybody knew what was going on. It's just everybody was afraid to do something about it. Now, wouldn't you think that person had some serious fucking shit on some serious people? Like I'm not talking about, just a picture with a young girl and the girl saying, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that did it." You know what I mean? I'm talking about like fucking like video, of these dudes getting down with underage girls and things of that nature. Mr. B.
Well, of course, gentlemen, we have to remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. All of these people, what they did is they ingratiated themselves with all these power people that were at the tops of banks, political figures, and so forth, industrialists, all the big cream of the crop of the crumbs. Brought them over to his little play village or whatever else, so they could be with underage girls, underage boys, underage goats for all they know, or whatever else. And of course, as you said, did their videos and whatever else. Of course, these people were afraid of it. Not just because, well, one person or two people or maybe 10 people or whatever else would wind up getting felled in the public's eyes and blah, blah, blah. No. Because these people that were all together were so strong. This is the sort of thing that could topple entire corporations. Could topple, reach governments. This guy, again, is another one of these things where they did everything right. He got all of these people by the kishkas and went around prancing around in plain sight because nobody was going to touch him. Until finally somebody got tired enough of him and did not want him to go any further and decided to create the stone wall by removing the source. Of course, Gisele, on the other hand, was hide out in a place about maybe 25, 30 miles from where I live, over in Bedford, New Hampshire. And she's still, I'm waiting for the day to find out that she accidentally slipped on a bar of soap or whatever else and winds up going into that great sleep, saying good night. Where is, you want to find out what's going on with this? You want to find out where this goes with all these things, with these trafficking? It's still going on. The names have changed, but the players and the game remains the same. Follow the freaking money, boys, and you're going to find all of these things. You're going to find bodies of little children laying all over hell and creation, from children that disappeared 40, 50, 60, 90 years ago. You're going to find bodies all over the place.
I'd just like to add something while Mr. B takes a breather
Thank
there, or Donnie. With McCain saying that, his wife, we all knew about it. That's what they're going to say about Joe Biden in 5 to 10 years. You're going to hear the conversation. We all knew Joe Biden was fucking. I really believe when he was the vice president, that's when he was doing all his damage, man. But everybody knows what Joe Biden's doing. And Joe Biden, Joe Biden is a fucking arrogant fucker, man. he's told the press one day, "Where's the money? Show me the money." You arrogant fuck, man. And that time he fired that Ukrainian prosecutor that was going after Burisma, and how he made it. It's in video. Yeah, they thought I, and this is not verbatim, but you can put the words together. But he said, "You bullshit me, you won't get the money. You need to fire that guy because I'm gonna call Obama." And the shit happened, man. They fired the guy.
Right. Donnie?
Come on.
No, I want to know what it is that these who we I want to know who all that entails. And what intrigues me more is she says we all knew. Okay, but they have that much dirt on y'all. That who is it that has this much dirt on you that you're scared to go do the right thing and say, hey, this guy's a pedophile, man? I don't understand.
So do
what
you
kind
think,
of dirt do they have on you that
so
would
do
make
you
you do
think
that?
he had shit, Donnie. But listen, do you think that they didn't outright want to assassinate him on open public roads, public streets, stuff like that? They got him arrested somehow. You know what I mean? And we know,
Epstein.
by a girl or whatever. And then they figured it would be easy to have him assassinated while he was incarcerated. What do you think? Do you
So
think
much
that
easier
has
because
some merit?
there has plenty of merit to that because if it dies in prison, somebody else has to explain that. I don't.
Right.
So that's too easy to let him die in prison.
All right, so let's take a listen, ladies and gentlemen, of some of the things that this sick bastard was up to, and don't get it twisted. Democrats, they're not that mad about all of this stuff. Just saying.
Well, we definitely received substantial evidence that he was involved in trafficking young women and children to the Virgin Islands
Husband's got
for
a pretty good show
a very
here,
long
huh?
period of time
Yeah.
through our airport, through his private jet. And then he would, by helicopter or sometimes boat, would then transport them over to Little St. James. And that's where he has his complex where he lives, which is his official residence as well. And that these young girls and women were subject to sexual assault, sexual exploitation, through coercion, false imprisonment, where the passports at some points were taken away. The actions were just reprehensible. And it was quite a number of women, and we found through our investigation that at least up to 2018 that continued.
So what your investigation is showing is the broad scope of Jeffrey Epstein's nefarious activities, that it just kept going.
Based on the evidence that we found thus far. Let me make something very clear. Jeffrey Epstein was very good at protecting himself and being secret. The secrecy he was very good at that. And because of his wealth, his power, he was able to do that and secure that. So when you think about it, he owns a private island. That's an island over a mile away from St. Thomas, the main island. And it's out there and it's isolated. He purchases that, right? Then he owns the jet that flew in to the airport. It's under a name of one of the front companies that actually has been named in our complaint, but it's him.
Oh, so
He's
why
the
ain't you
member
saying it on
of that
TV?
LLC. And he owns the helicopter and the boats that took or transported him and the women and children over to the island. So when you think about that, it's him orchestrating all of that. Yes, there may have been baggage handlers. There may have been other persons who looked and saw him and other females with young girls. Yes, but I think that it's important that we focus on how Jeffrey Epstein was so able to create such an elaborate scheme, especially by doing it in such secrecy, and he had the money and power to create the secrecy so that not just local authorities, but we have federal authorities here too, that that are here all along. Not even they might have been able to see it. In looking at that, you have to really get a good understanding of how he was able to protect and isolate himself. Once you get on that island, how do you get off? It's not like a person who's on the island can just say, okay, I'm going to swim to St. Thomas. They can't do that. It's not like a person who's there and needs help that they can sneak away and run outside and flag down a vehicle or flag down a police car or run to the nearest police station like they might be able to do on St. Thomas, on the main island. The island is isolated. So that kind of isolation is really what you have to look at when you start to think, how could this have happened for so long?
I think the picture you paint is a terrifying one of isolation, but also abuse of power. And I just wonder why the people who worked for Jeffrey Epstein weren't terrified for the girls going over there. They knew how isolated that island was. They knew the ages of those girls. They saw powerful men there. Why weren't they terrified? Why didn't they become whistleblowers?
Well, one thing I do know, first of all, is that there are the non-disclosure agreements that Jeffrey Epstein had all of the employees, if not most of them, sign. Then they had to agree not to disclose any information to law enforcement or anyone else regarding what goes on that island. And even after Jeffrey Epstein's death, those non-disclosure agreements are still in place and still enforced by the estate. So this was just one of the ways that you can pretty much intimidate or silence people. But in addition to that, when you see someone connected with powerful people who may visit the island or he may be involved with, whether it doesn't have to be here, it could be anywhere in the world, and it's known that these powerful people are his friends and associates. That alone is intimidating to the ordinary citizen who's sitting there and watching this and say, ooh, that does not look good. But could you imagine the reluctance of that person to say, I'm going to come forward, I'm going to tell on that person who's friends with all these powerful people? So that alone, the way that he surrounded himself with these powerful people, that was an example of the kind of intimidation that would cause what you're saying, people to be silent about what they may see or suspect. As far as the Virgin Islands is concerned, we need to make sure that the Virgin Islands is not perceived as a haven for this kind of sexual exploitation, human trafficking, and sexual and child abuse. We have to make that clear. It is very important that we enforce our laws.
Okay, so apparently she's just covering for, St. Thomas. Oh, St. Thomas isn't like that. Well, I think we understand that. I'm disappointed in that segment that I put up. I apologize. Where's the names? You know what I mean? There's a list of them. You know what I mean? There's absolutely a list of them. Yeah.
And that lady said something very important in there. There are NDAs still being enforced by the estate. That's where your list is. Your list is in those non-disclosure agreements. So when those go, then you'll find out. Until then, you'll never know.
Who was this? Are you done, Donnie?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Mr. B, do you have anything?
Well, I'll be very happy to let you go ahead. I do have something to say, but go on, please.
She is the problem. The whole Virgin Islands is the problem. Stacy Plassick, we brought her up a couple of weeks ago. She was the one at the House and Ways Means Committee talking about how veterans, they shouldn't be given no they're prone to sin just like an average citizen. She didn't say that. But why the fuck do we give them a seat in the House of Representatives? And this woman here, Stacy Plassick, that's a big fucking mob job over there, the Virgin Islands, all them fucking islands. And for me, all I look at, we got Puerto Rico and we got the Keys. We don't need them fucking islands. But Stacy Plassick, getting back to this representative, she was involved with Epstein and Mr. Borgstadt. Fucking we shared that information. Fuck the Virgin Islands, man. She's the fuck. Who was that chick talking to that softball pitcher?
What the hell was her name?
Yeah, but
Her
Oh,
name,
bro, I'm just disgusted,
60
bro.
Minutes. It
And,
was 60 Minutes Australia. I know that.
all them fucking islands are stripping money from the taxpayers. They get heavily funded from us. And Puerto Rico, they're the most corrupt ones, and they're the ones I love the most. You know? No, I'm serious, man. You know the islands. Go ahead,
They're the
Donnie.
most honest thieves out there, or whatever. That's what you're basically saying. You know, you back in the day, they were like, oh, they're a bunch of thieves. Yeah, but at least he's an honest thief. He's gonna tell you if he's gonna take it. You know, it's something like that. But I don't know. I just them NDAs, and if whatever, she's in a position of power to keep allowing those NDAs to be enforced, then yes, I would say you're part of the problem, because I don't understand how a non-disclosure agreement can still be enforced when you're talking about, sexual exploitation of minors. I don't get that. I don't.
Somewhere along the line, boys, I remember something very old having to do with things like contract law that says anytime that there's a clause that's put inside of any kind of a contract that is found to be illegal or wrong, goes against the laws and so forth, is considered to be unenforceable and void. Well,
yeah,
a non-disclosure agreement when it's covering up known freaking child molestation and rape has got to be an agreement that is unenforceable. So all this thing about non-disclosure agreements and whatever the hell it is all a line of bullshit. It's all it is.
But if they're enforcing it, then it's not a line of bullshit. She just said that they're still being enforced, so it's not a line of bullshit. They're hiding something in those non-disclosure agreements.
I understand that they're still enforcing it, but because they're keeping the people under their thumb, they're enforcing it by being bullies. And what you got to do with a bully, you got to stand up to the bully and say, you know what? You got your paper. That paper ain't worth the freaking paper that it's printed on. Fuck you. I'm going to talk anyway. That's all you got to do. We go ahead and start doing this. You do this. Talk.
They talk about what? Dude, talk what? Talk, but there's no action. There's got to be action to follow up the talk.
Start naming the names, things.
Once again, we revert back to, what do they have on you that's so bad that you're willing to take this to the grave? All these people, what do they have on you that's so bad? And it's stuff about, there's this one world order society.
Big time.
These people,
Hey, the fucking
all
prime
that
minister.
starting to make more and more sense.
The prime minister of Israel, fucking, raping a fucking, a 13-year-old girl, like I said, on video camera. That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit. Let's see, who else was there? Akon was there. Alan Dershowitz was there. Alec
hold
Baldwin
on. Let's
was
think
there.
about this. Let's think about this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
How long did Epstein have that island? And don't take it as Epstein. Take it as you have that island. I don't care who you are. You could say you could be the most humble person in the world. When I own an island and I have the money to go back and forth to it, I'm be an arrogant son of a bitch. You know what I mean? You got that kind of hush money. You got that kind of hush money to pay people and not worry about it. And you get somebody that doesn't have hardly shit, and you give them money that they can use for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? That's a pretty powerful trip right there.
Well, you know what I want to know? What I really want to know is
Barack Obama was there.
What about Bill Cosby?
What about Bill Cosby?
Ben Affleck, Bill Clinton. Bill Murray. Let's see.
Yes, okay. We
Karen
got the things
Casey.
and who are there.
Charlie
Yeah, they could
Sheen
have.
was there. No, not everybody got the things that who were there. Not no. This shit, you got. It just took me about fucking 12 minutes to find it while we were talking. Go ahead, Mr.
Right.
Carpenter.
Thank you, Mr. Blazeman. The NDAs. You would think children being hurt in the process, it would eradicate them NDAs and fucking bring these criminals to fucking to justice. Just look at some of these parents that endured this shit with their own kids getting skull drugged and raped in the Jeffrey Epstein's island under the watch. People knew what was going on over there. That lady that gave that 60-minute softball interview, she knew what was going on
right.
there. Why didn't she stop it? Come on, man. It's a fucking island, bro. You know, she's saying nobody can leave the island. You're exactly
And you're
right.
saying that they couldn't see all that traffic. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Carpenter.
yeah, no. That's all I got to say.
You know,
know,
all
but
traffic that's
we're
going
no,
over
but I just want to add one more thing to the gist of everything. We're over here in Conus on the United States hard shore, you know, fucking castrating our kids with transgender bullshit and all this shit, and we're gonna worry about something that happened 10, 15 years ago. That shit's old news, man. That shit's old news. I'm serious. That's all they're gonna do is keep tossing it under the rug. You know, chemical castration. You can't stop it when you start it.
But that's fucked up shit, though, D. To have, I mean,
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
I mean, we got fucking people again. Barack Obama was there. I don't know. Was he there? Was he there for legit fucking meeting? You know what I mean? It doesn't say Michelle was with them. It just said he went. You know, but why have a meeting on this guy Jeffrey Epstein? You know what I'm saying? Because it's a fucking boys club. That's what it was. So, you know, everybody going. You got the fucking young little girls floating around. I don't fucking know. Okay? But they're on the list. You know? Courtney Love's on the list. I'm sorry. She was probably part of the fucking orgies. You know, Chris Tucker. You know what I mean? I mean, why were these people there? Did Epstein throw badass parties and, you know, you had to be on the A-list to go there? Are you going to tell me that out of all of these names, even though you can sit there and argue, but Barack Obama's give me a fucking break, he was probably there. You're going to tell me he didn't see nothing? You're not going to tell me
intellectual lectures.
You know, yeah. Of course, Christine Maxwell was there. You know, let's see. Trying to find ones where, you know, everyone knows. James Franco was there.
Okay,
of
so
course.
Blaze. You can
Yes.
sit here.
Jimmy
you can
Kimmel,
read
Jim
everybody's
Carrey.
list. Blaze, you can read that names list all day.
Kevin Spacey, I'm not surprised. But go ahead.
I'm sorry. Those names, it means nothing to me because, yeah, the dude threw badass parties. We're talking about people with so much money that we know that's more than that movie star lifestyle. What they got more money than half the people we see, you know, way they portrayed in the movie. They got fuck you money. They got hush money.
Yeah.
And they can hush a government.
Right.
They got so much power with them dollars. So fuck yeah, that dude threw some hellacious parties. And the young girls were party menu for, you know, this part of the island. You go to the other side of the fun island, there's this menu of all these different probably drugs and cocktails and everything else. That's what the ultra elite probably party.
Right.
You know,
but
we think
but people on both sides of the island didn't get curious.
Okay,
you know?
whatever. There's NDAs, but let's think about what that lady said too. That island is a mile from the main island.
Yeah.
Guess what? I can see. I got a lighthouse on that island. I can see y'all coming. I got plenty of time to go hide my girls or hide whatever the fuck's going on.
Absolutely.
Another thing too is talk about jurisdiction. What rules do they follow? Because they're in international waters, or what are they? So
Good point.
That goes to what can be enforced, what's not enforced.
U.S. Protectorate, I believe it's actually in considered United States waters.
But getting back to that woman real quick, she again, how could you not see all the traffic going to that island? Tons of traffic.
How many ultra rich motherfuckers take their private planes there on a daily basis? Be honest. Let's think about it.
Yep.
Hey, listen.
Shit, it probably had a helicopter pad too.
Yeah, of course it did. You can see pictures online of the island. You know what I mean? But anyhow, look, man, we're a little bit over time here. But with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned into the show tonight. Peace and love to everybody out there. You know, if you could help somebody and it don't hurt your pockets, help somebody out, man. And that's for me for tonight, Mr. Carpenter.
Love and peace to everyone, man. We got to come out of this, and we will. We'll come out stronger. I hope it doesn't involve another nation making us stronger. I hope it's within. Y'all have a good night.
Mr. B.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful, Mr. Carpenter. Great to hear from you. And as far as peace is concerned, I'd like a piece of as much as I can get. That having been said, tomorrow evening, of course, we're going to be having another episode of Politicking with Mr. B. Please, by all means, tune in. You'll never know what I'm going to turn up, but when I do turn up, it's not going to be a radish. It'll be a turnip. I'll see you all again, everybody. Take care.
Mr. Donald.
Hey, just however we're connecting, man, I appreciate you. And think positive, do positive, man. We'll see y'all next week.
See y'all next week, everybody. Don't forget to watch Coach's Corner tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that is Politicking with Mr. B. I am Blazeman. We'll catch you next week for The Way We See It.
Why do you believe what you believe? Because at some point in your life, you trusted the information that somebody was giving you. And that someone you trusted told you that a car was a car, a tree was a tree, a bird was a bird, the blue stuff above you is the sky. And that's the way that we began to determine what we believe to be a fact.